which means candidates who have cohesion 7, they don't make mistakes with those. Okay? So if you do the thinking in advance, the writing becomes very fast. One word has many meanings, that's one of the things. And students use what? We don't know. I have 2 nouns. You don't know what is it, right? So you understand what is parallelism? When you use coordinating conjunctions are words like and, but, so, those words. Both sides of the words must be equal. So when you write sentences like this, let's say, the number of people who visited England increased, and after that, the number of people went down. Hi guys, good afternoon. Well, sorry for making you wait in such a hot condition. All right, well, let's start. The presentation will be about, as you saw, the most common mistakes in writing. What we'll do today. Today we'll have different types of mistakes that students make. I will teach you just the type. Then I will give you some tips on how to manage your time. And afterwards you will have tips about grammar, which is not taught in regular grammar classes. So, and the most interesting and engaging part of the presentation is going to be about examples from students' essays, mistakes of students, and the correct version. And at the end of the presentation, I will have a bonus checklist for you, which you can use at the end of your presentation, at the end of your writing. When you finish your essay, you can check your writing basically with the help of that. So let's get started. So types of mistakes, right? Very common type of mistake known as spelling, and very often people do not notice it. You will see today, I will be showing you different spelling mistakes, and your job will be to find those mistakes, and it is actually quite difficult to do so. The other one, which is more dangerous, is subject-verb agreement mistake. Who knows that type of mistake? Subject-verb agreement. Anybody by hands? When your subject doesn't agree with your verb. Any examples? No idea. All right. So that type of mistake is when you put a verb which cannot be completed by your subject. Let's say this happens very often in task 1 writing, when people say something like the number of students, or they say the students from certain country were highest. They want to say the number is highest, but they say students were highest. So here, students cannot become highest, right? That is a subject-verb agreement mistake. Then it is punctuation. Many people neglect it. Many people actually ignore this aspect of the writing. And people do not know anything except for full stop and comma, right? And they can't even manage to use them properly. Well, the other thing is wordiness. There is one misconcept among students. You know, they think that their essays must be as difficult as a reading passage. Anybody heard this? Like, anybody take some language from reading passage? This is wrong. The purpose in writing, I will repeat this today many times, is clear communication, okay? Whereas in reading, they try to give you difficult language to hide something from you. So the wordiness is something you don't want to do in your essay, okay? Then it's word choice mistake. Why do you think word choice mistake happens? Any reason? Meanings, yeah. One word has many meanings, that's one of the things. And students use what in their writing? Yeah, dictionary, right? Which is, I would call as a crime in writing, okay? You don't have to, like, you mustn't use the dictionary in writing at all. With tenses, like even IELTS students make mistakes with tenses, especially in task 1. When you have, you know, the graphs with future or present, these mistakes, especially in the maps. IELTS writing task 1 map. Tenses, then word forms, articles, and contractions. What is contractions? Anybody knows about contractions? No idea. Contraction is a short form. Don't, isn't, aren't, right? The writing is a formal task where you cannot use that, okay? So let's continue now with the time management. So this is the standard time management that I use. I spent in task 1 about 3 minutes on planning, 3 to 5 minutes I would say, and then 15 minutes on producing. And now when you look at those numbers, you know, 15 minutes for task 1, that seems like unreal, right? Who can manage to writing task 1 in 15 minutes? Who writes it? Guys, don't take pictures. Don't worry about taking pictures. I will make sure that this presentation is available. I will send you the whole presentation, okay? Well, nobody manages in 15 minutes, right? But what would you say if I gave you a text, let's say, consisting of 200 words, okay? And I told you to copy that. How much would it take? 5 minutes, right? What do you spend the rest 10 minutes for? 15 minutes, right? If it takes 5 minutes to write 200 words, what do you spend the rest 10 minutes? Thinking. So if you do the thinking in advance, the writing becomes very fast, okay? Some people say like spending time on planning is a waste, but I would say spending time on plan is an investment of time, okay? You invest your time so that you win more time in the future, all right? Well, this is the basic plan that I use for my time management. All right. Now we'll learn two types of grammar, which are, as I said, not taught in regular grammar classes. The first grammar is that difficult word, right? Parallelism, okay? Who knows what is it? Any idea? Yeah, what does it even mean? Parallel grammar structures. Anybody heard it? Any SAT students here, SAT people know it? Parallelism. No idea. So parallelism, I expected that, to be honest. Well, here it is. Parallelism refers to using similar word, clauses, phrases, and sentence structure, or other grammatical elements, to emphasize similar ideas in a sentence. It makes sentence concise, means clear, and easy to read. So that's our purpose. Our writing must be concise, clear, and easy to read. Okay? So I will show you some sentences where the parallelism rule is not followed. And you guys tell me what's wrong about it. So let's see. 1. Look at the ending after to be. Illogical, rushed, and it disappointed. What's wrong with it? Any idea? So what are the first two words? Illogical. What kind of word it is? Adjective. Second one. Rushed. Adjective, adjective. It's also adjective. It was rushed, right? And what about the third side? Subject-Verb, right? It disappointed. So which is not parallel? It must be, the finale was illogical, rushed, and disappointing. All right? That's the correct version. This is how you do it. Next one. Paul likes dancing, swimming, and to run. This is more obvious example. And running. Good job. So you understand what is parallelism? When you use coordinating conjunctions are words like and, but, so, those words. Both sides of the words must be equal. All right? So here, if you say dancing, verb ing, swimming, verb ing, and to run, infinitive form, which is not correct, and running, right? Okay, let's say the other mistake. This is more difficult here. I talk with my friend more than my brother. Now, what's wrong with this sentence actually? Okay, yeah. It has two meanings. Why? The first meaning is I talk with my friend more than I talk with my brother. That's the first meaning. And second meaning is I talk with my friend more than my brother talks with my friend. All right? So this sentence now is incomplete comparison, unparalleled comparison. Okay? So the correct version would be I talk with my friend more than my brother does. My brother does talk. Okay? So next one, number 4. The presentation was delivered properly, but long. Look at the conjunction. Where is conjunction here? There. But, there is no end in this presentation. Presentation was delivered properly. What is the left side? Was delivered properly. Passive voice, verb plus adverb, right? And the right side? Long. Adjective. Not parallel, right? Does it sound strange to you? Right? Let's translate some of those words, and you will see. If you just translate them into Russian or Uzbek, you will see how weird it is. In English, you might not understand it, but when you translate it, you will see it, all right? All right, last one. The tribe emphasized collective survival, mutual aid, and being responsible. Which one is wrong? Why? Yeah, exactly. Collective survival, adjective, noun. Mutual aid, adjective, noun. Being responsible, verb ing plus adjective. Different structure, you see? Well, then we say the tribe emphasized collective survival, mutual aid, and responsibility towards each other. Responsibility is noun here, okay? So that's what parallelism means. The second type of grammar is referencing. My students probably know what is it. Well, but what about others? Anybody knows what is referencing? No. Reference. Refer. Do you guys know the verb refer? What does it mean? Yeah, ссылка in Russian. Okay? Reference. Reference means when you take a word and you change it with a pronoun or with a different word in order to avoid repetition. Okay? So you don't say like this. For example, I always help my brother because I like my brother. What's wrong here? Because I like him, right? So that him is a referencing, okay? And why do we need referencing in IELTS? So let's see. Reference words are those which substitute nouns, verbs, clauses, and other parts of the sentence so that it doesn't get confusing or repetitive. So this is assessment criteria, coherence, cohesion 5, okay? Anything you can see here about referencing? Both in task 1 and task 2, there is this part about referencing and substitution here. Maybe repetitive because of lack of referencing and substitution. So when you write sentences like this, let's say the number of people who visited England increased, and after that the number of people went down. You are being repetitive, right? You're repeating yourself. That's coherent cohesion 5, CC 5, okay? So next one is like coherent cohesion 6. Here they say, may not always use referencing clearly or appropriately. What is this now? So you are using now referencing, but it is not clear. So referencing is a very common tool which you have been doing from, like intermediate or pre-intermediate level, but it's very common and easy to make mistake with that. Be very careful with referencing. If you reference a word and that word is wrong or unclear, your score is likely to be 6 in terms of coherence and cohesion. So the example is like this. So I will, let's say like this. The building, right, doesn't have air conditioner like now. Building doesn't have air conditioner and it is not working. What is not working? Building is not working or air conditioner is not working? We don't know. I have 2 nouns. You don't know what is it, right? So I can say like this. My friend talked to Jake, right? Because he was bored. Who was bored? Friend or Jake? Unclear. This is example of 6. Okay? Coherence, cohesion 6. And then when you go to coherence, cohesion 7, there's nothing about referencing, which means candidates who have coherence, cohesion 7, they don't make mistakes with those. Okay? It's very easy to gain score, and it's also very easy to lose it in terms of coherence and cohesion. So done with the grammar. Let's see some examples. Authorities must care about elderly people because they are unable to do it. There are 2 parts of referencing. They, right? And to do it. One of them is wrong. Which is wrong? They or to do it? I mean, do you understand when I say to do it? To do what? To do what? Care, yeah. To care, because they are unable to care about themselves. Who? Authorities, that's first plural noun, and then elderly people, that's second plural noun, right? When you have two plural nouns and when you put they in the sentence, that's going to be unclear, okay? Number 2, take the radio out of the car and fix it. Fix what? Radio or car? Okay? So this is a good example of unclear referencing. Fix it. Fix radio or car, not clear. Number 3, Jake told me to see a doctor, but when I did so, he wasn't there. Now, I did so. I did what? See doctor. I saw a doctor, right? And then, who wasn't there? Doctor or Jake? Not clear, right? This is example of coherence cohesion 6. Not clear. Well, this is what you have to avoid in order to get that 7 in coherence and cohesion, just because of referencing, okay? That doesn't guarantee 7, but at least one of the parts here that you have in 6, you will avoid having 6, okay? Your score will not be decreased to 6, at least, in terms of one component out of 3. All right, now. So now is the part where you guys have to be active. I'll be showing the mistakes of students, and you will have to find or tell me why they are wrong, okay? So this is difficulty level. 1 pepper means easy, all right? These are easy mistakes. So let's start it. The number of tourists visiting Japan was increasing until 1999 when it made up 3.5 million. What's wrong about it? No, the number made up. It made up the number. There might be any type of mistake, even punctuation or whatever, spelling. Tell me, by hands. Now, we'll be more careful. It's a tiny mistake, small mistake. No, nothing wrong about made up. Yeah. Okay. No, it's not referencing mistake. It's not referencing, it's not parallelism mistake. These were just other types of grammar that I taught you. Yeah. What is wrong about until? Good job. Until is written with 1 L, all right? This is one of the very common mistakes in IELTS writing, especially task 1, right? And people don't notice it. Until is spelled with 1 L, so it should be until, like that. And it was easy, wasn't it? Okay, next one. Yeah. So this is subject-verb agreement mistake, okay? They should donate money to children who, that's relative pronoun, and who is for children, which is plural, right? And we cannot say learns, it must be learn. Correct. So as I promised, this is an easy one. Always pay attention to the subject and change the verb accordingly. All right, 2 examples here from task 1. They have identical mistakes. The first one from task 1, the second one from task 2. Any idea? With what? No, it's okay. It's all right. Where? And there? A significantly increase? No, it's okay. You can say like that, say like that. It doesn't matter. Look, they're the same phrase used, right? In both sentences. I'm telling you, same mistake. While, yeah. What's wrong with it? In the second one. And we do have comma in the first one. Which one is correct? Now, there are 2 types of students in writing classes, you know. The ones who always use comma with writing and the ones who never use comma. Actually, we sometimes do use a comma, sometimes we do not. And here is when. We don't use comma before while when we mean during the same time or at the same time. Okay? Which is most commonly used in task 1. When you're writing your overview for a line graph, let's say, right? The number of something increased while the number of something decreased. Do you mean at the same time? Then you don't use comma. Okay? If you don't mean at the same time, we usually use it in task 2, right? While I see disadvantages, I still agree with the phenomenon. So here it's not the same time, so we do use comma. Okay? When you mean also or whereas, here is the correct version. No comma, we do put comma. Next one. This is a tricky one. I will personally give feedback on 2 essays if you find a mistake here. Full feedback on 2 full essays. Maybe it was mentioned in the previous sentence. Work harder. No, you can study hard. You can study hard as well. What? To inform you, yeah? To put you into awareness? No idea. Yeah, I mean, I knew that students wouldn't be able to guess it. This sentence is wordy, as I said, right? Lots of unnecessary words. The meaning is this. I think students should study harder. This is the main point of the sentence, right? But we do not need to use so many words, okay? Actually, what I noticed about students who have, below 6, the more they write, the lower scores they're going to get. Because the more you write, if you write, for example, for task 2, 400 words, you'll be showing your weaknesses. But if your level is real high, like if your writing level is 7 and above, it's better if you write more, because you'll be able to show your good sides, So in this case, this sentence has too many words, more words than necessary. That's why it's wrong. Next one. Nowadays is correct. Commas are also correct. Have is also correct. There is no, not there is zara. Higher and higher. What's wrong about it? No, this is like double comparative adjective. More and more people you say in task 2, right? The same case. No. Nobody? Okay, if you want to say that, let's say, your friend is shorter than you, and you are taller. Exactly. The same about buildings, all right? This is a word choice mistake. High is used for a wide object. We do not say high building. We say tall building, all right? So we say high mountain, high wall, high fence, but we say tall tree, tall people, tall animals, tall buildings, all right? So tall is used for narrow and tall objects, just like people or buildings. Next one. Since. Now, it would change the meaning. If you put since, it's different meaning. By means it's up to that time. But since means it's after that time till now. No idea. Tense, yeah. What's wrong with it? Yeah. It must be past perfect. Why? Because you're using by. What does by mean? By means until that time, the action was finished. Okay? If an action was finished before a certain time in the past, we use which tense? Past perfect. Good one. So in many cases, students use by, but they use past simple. This is a very common mistake with task 1, all right? When you use by, you have to use past perfect, okay? With a year when you use by. So, or simply say in, had increased, or simply in 2007. Next one. Any idea? Yeah. Why? Yeah. Adverb doesn't describe noun, right? This is adjective-adverb confusion, or we call word form mistake. We use adverb plus verb, adjective plus noun. So the correct version is effective use of traffic, not effectively use. And use in there is not a verb, right? It's noun. Therefore, we use effective use. All right, here. This affects children's performance at school. Yeah, same mistake. Affects, right? Affect is the verb. Affect is noun, okay? Affect is like impact, influence. All right, here. The number of kids in the UK was increasing until 1999 when it made up 3.5 million. Task 1 essay, report. They should what? No, we are referring to a number. Number of kids. It should be what? No, we are referring to number. Do you mean kids are increasing or do you mean numbers increasing? Number, right? So that's why you put was. Until. Why? I always mark till in my students' essays, you know? Many people don't know that. So here is the answer. Till is not academic, so is kids. We don't use those two words in the essay, okay? We don't use words like youngsters, for example. They're not academic. Be careful. You can Google up, we can look up on Google, basically a list of non-academic words that are used very often in our language, and that would help you really much. Here, task 2. No, there might be one problem. Promptly, it means like urgently or quickly. It's okay there. Like take action promptly. What? Didn't. But it's first conditional. Present simple and future simple. It's like if we don't do it now, we will not be able to do it in the future. You don't notice, just like students don't notice when they write it in the essay. It was simple. Do not, does not, right? Do not use contractions. Contraction means short form. Do not use short forms in writing. Always, when you finish your writing, make sure you check for those. Because, I mean, this is habit. When we chat, we use those, you know. Therefore, students are used to writing this kind of words. Don't. Okay, now difficulty level number 2. They will be more difficult. Mistakes will be more difficult to identify. In 2016 alone, the US people spent some 12 billion to travel in states. There are 2 mistakes in this sentence, and both same. Now, some is, you know, it's like actually a very good style of writing. It's like around, saying like around, right? For emphasizing. We sometimes say people spend as much as 12 billion, like for huge numbers, right? And some is for emphasizing, or saying it is like average. It means also emphasis. You see, it's like more advanced style of writing. This was written by a more advanced student who has like 7.5 and 7 in their writing. Alone means like also for emphasizing. It means only in 1 year it was such a big number. What? No to travel. It's like task 1. The topic was about expenditures of American citizens on traveling. So it's travel is correct there. They spent this much money to travel in states. What do they mean by in states? Shtatach, right? Shtatlarda, qo'shma shtatlarda. Do you know which states? United States, right? If you know which states, what do you have to use before that word? N? No. Do you mean in any state? In the states. So we can refer to the USA as the states. Okay? Just like we say in Russian, в Штатах. Okay? The same meaning, it should be in the states. And the first the is wrong. The US people. Do you know which US people? Do you know who are they? No. So there is an article mistake. I mean, students have also one misconception that when we have US, UK, we have to use the all the time. That is wrong. Okay? We use the with US, UK when we are referring to them as a country, not as adjective. Here, US people is like Amerikanci, Amerikalik odamlar. Okay? Not as USA. So it is not definite. That's why you don't put article there, and you put in the second one. Don't forget articles, nor misuse them like in this case. Okay? Next one. Table, introduction. The table shows data about people in 3 age groups who bought an electronic gadget in Walmart in 2010. This is difficulty level 2. That's expected to be much more difficult. In 3 age groups, yeah, it was a table with like, if I'm not mistaken, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and like above 60 or something. No, like one gadget. If you mean gadgets, it means they bought more than one gadget. It means an electronic gadget, like any electronic gadget. Walmart is the name of supermarket. You know, right? The American grocery store. Not necessarily. Because then where do you put in 3 age groups? If you can use who there, but then you will not be able to put in 3 age groups in the sentence. It's a spelling mistake. Yeah, now find it. Exactly. Thank you. Gadget. Spelling matters, okay? Gadget is spelled with J. Not with G, not with J. So here, another one. Participle, present participle. Buying 25 million devices in 2010, the rate of the USA rose twice in 2015. No, not necessarily. Tense, you mean? Subject-verb, I would say. Subject-verb agreement mistake. No. Okay, what is our main subject here? Subject. Rate. Rate. Subject, guys. Subject does action, right? Who is doing action here? Rate. What's happening with rate? It rose, right? It was rising, yeah. So the rate was rising. And then on the left side, we have no subject, but we have verb for the same subject. What is verb on the left side? The participle? Buying. Now you are saying the rates of USA are buying gadgets, are buying 25 million gadgets. Can rates buy? Can an indicator buy something? No. No. So here, like this buying right here refers to the rate, okay? The correct option would be this one. Showing 25 million bought devices in 2010, the rate of the USA rose twice. So showing, now the rate can show it, okay? So this is a type of mistake where, you know, I mark for some students and they kind of still don't get it. I mark it very often. And in every single essay I check, I found those mistakes a lot. Be careful when you're using participles. Be careful with your subject, main subject. Okay, next one. Having various problems with your health, people wouldn't they be able to focus on their jobs? Exactly, yeah. You're getting better in writing. So punctuation. Having various problems with their health, you see I'm pausing. When I'm reading it, I'm pausing. Having various problems with their health, number of people, that one, people. Okay, punctuation. This is the reason why punctuation matters, all right? So listen, let's eat grandma, right? Versus let's eat grandma. Okay, both in pronunciation and punctuation. So most of the time travelers pollute cities. Here they're saying time travelers pollute cities, right? But what they meant was most of the time travelers pollute cities. Just one comma can dramatically change your meaning in the sentence. And when your meaning in the sentence is changed, your band score will be very, very low, around 5. All right, the last one is the most scary one and funny at the same time. Jake loves cooking his friends and family. What a person. Jake loves cooking his friends and his family. So he first likes cooking, and then he likes his friends, and then he likes his family. Okay? So the comma mistake. Be careful with that. Okay, another one. The rate of France noticeably decreased, meanwhile that of Italy faced an upward trend. Yeah. Exactly. Meanwhile is a conjunctive adverb, like however, like moreover, right? You use it in the same way. You put a full stop or a semicolon before it, and then you put comma, and then that's how you continue. Again, punctuation. So meanwhile is not a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction are the words which are used in the middle of the sentence, like and, but, so, yet, right? So which means we cannot use it like that. We have to use meanwhile like shown here with a semicolon, or we can put a full stop and we start with capital letter, capital M. Or we simply say while, all right? Like sometimes students try to change that while in the sentence, they see the sample essays, and for some reasons they try to paraphrase that while and then they use meanwhile. This is also kind of translation work. All right, are you ready? Difficulty level 3, hardest ones. People who live in an urban area have better conditions than rural residents. Well, no, we're comparing like people to people. This was also from an essay of a student who has like high score. Why? It's relative close. So, do we use it? Like, again, with relative close, most of the people don't know how to use commas, right? Anybody who solidly knows, anybody who can say, I know it for sure, how to use comma with relative close. How? Extra. But is this information extra? No. Look at the close. Relative close is the part which starts with who and finishes with area, right? Is this part necessary or not? Can we understand sentence without that part? Can you say people have better conditions than rural residents? Can you say that? Can you understand? Is the meaning same? People have better conditions than rural residents. Which people, right? Which means it's necessary. So when relative clause is necessary, we do not use comma. We use commas with a relative clause or any other dependent clause when it is non-essential. Non-essential means sentence can be understood without it. Okay? So I often give this example in order for students to understand. Let's say somebody asks me in street about my place of living, and they say, do you live in a city or village? All right? Do you live in a city or in a village? And I say, I live in a city. Which is the capital of Uzbekistan? All right? Can you understand my sentence, the first part? Can you get answer for your question? If you ask me, do you live in a city or a village? Can you get the answer if I say I live in a city? Can you? You want to understand if it's city or not. Did you get the answer when I said I live in a city? You got. I live in a city. Which city? You're not asking for which city. You're sitting city or not. So now if you ask in which city or where do you live exactly? Now I say I live in a city which is capital of Uzbekistan. Now you understand, you do not understand without the second part. Okay? So that's the case. When you do not understand without that part, you don't put comma. Look, remove it. Say, people have better conditions than rural residents. Not clear, not full meaning. Doesn't make sense. So we do not use commas there. Okay, another one. City life provides comfort to citizens, which is very important in choosing a house. The same type of mistake. Yeah. After city life? No. After citizens, right? Because if you remove that second part, starting with which, do you understand sentence? City life provides comfort to citizens. Do you get it? You get it. So we do not need second side, right? If we do not need second side, we just put comma there, okay? So in order to remember this, I often tell a funny example to my students, which is, let's say a friend of yours asks you a phone. Let's say, hey, do you have a phone? I just forgot my phone. I just wanted to call somebody. You say, yeah, I do have a phone, right? I do have a phone. And then you describe it. I do have a phone which was released by Apple. Like in Uzbek, it's showing off, right? Maqtanish, qo'shimcha. Which was released by Apple. So that part, o'sha qo'shimcha joyi kerak emas. Agar kerak emas bo'ladigan bo'lsa, do we use comma or no? We use comma. I do have a phone which was released by Apple. And then there you have comma, okay? But in the same sentence, now let's change the question. What kind of phone do you have? If you say, I do have a phone. Is it an answer? Right? Which language do you study? I study a language. Is that an answer? No. I study a language which is most commonly spoken around the world. This is the answer. Without second part, you will not understand the first part, right? Which means you don't put comma. You put comma when you can understand first part without the second part. Clear? This is very common punctuation mistake. So here we do have a comma. In this part. City life provides comfort to citizens, which is very important in choosing a house. All right, here. Children face an embarrassing situation when their teacher punishes them. No. You see, it's necessary now. Children face an embarrassing situation. Do you understand it? No. So we don't have comma. Because second part is necessary. We cannot understand the first part without the second part. Difficulty level 3. Maybe. What? Yeah, you can talk in Uzbek. Where? Them, you mean? Now you see this them would be wrong, like with referencing. Your referencing would be wrong when you have two similar words. Let's say you say children and parents face embarrassing situation when their teacher punishes them. Punishes whom? Children or parents? But here I have one plural noun. So referencing is all right here. With referencing, be careful when you have two plural nouns and you're referencing with they. Or when you have two singular nouns and you're referencing with it or he or whatever. So, no. An embarrassing situation. We don't know what kind of embarrassing situation. Any embarrassing situation. This is one of the hardships of being a teacher. Finding those small mistakes, you know. Embarrassing. Look at the word. Exactly. Yes, sir. Spelling matters. And embarrassing. Double R, double S. Embarrass. All right? Even when you pronounce it. Look, there is one thing about English pronunciation, about R in English pronunciation. We usually don't pronounce R, like this letter, unless we have double R, like embarrassing, right? Embarrassing. Re is like in Russian, right? Re. Not re, like in British, like better. Or when it comes at the beginning, rate, region, regional, right? At the beginning you say re, and you say re also when you have double, arrow, narrow, right? In other cases you don't pronounce that R. Like better, higher. Do you hear re here? Better. It's not higher, higher. It's not higher in Uzbek, all right? Next one. There is a heated debate that has been sparked all over the world for many decades. It's the first sentence in task 2. No. May what? No, decades. Because you're saying many, it's countable word. 10 yilliklar. What? Has been. So here they are using which tense? No, which tense? Like has been sparked. Which tense? Present perfect? Continuous. Is it? No, it's present perfect in passive voice. Because you see the verb is not sparking, it's sparked. Right? Have been, verb 3. That's passive voice of present perfect. So we use, that is actually another common mistake of students. When they start their task 2s, let's say, they say, nowadays more and more people eat fast food, they say. Or they also say ate fast food, past simple or present simple. But for the change over time, when you want to indicate that from past till now something has been changing, you usually use present perfect or present continuous. Okay? So here it's correct, it's present perfect. But what's wrong with this problem? Remember, the purpose in writing is a clear communication. No idea? Do you want me to show the answer? Okay, here it is. This sentence is totally empty. Like we say in Russian, vada, right? Where is meaning? In task 2, you are given a topic, right? And the first sentence there should be either general statement, which is about the topic, or it should be a paraphrase of your topic. What do you see about topic? This is a memorized sentence, memorized response. There is a heated debate that has been sparked all over the world for many decades. You can use this one for any discussion essay, and you will end up having your 5.5 for writing. Okay? So don't write such sentences. Your sentences must be on point. They must be on topic. They must include something from topic. It's totally unrelated sentence, you see? It's not like, do you understand any information about topic from this part? Nothing. Empty sentence, all right? Next one. Many people are not satisfied with an organization they work. This is also example of good grammar, by the way. But with a mistake, though. Like, they work is omitted relative clause, right? With an organization where they work. What is it? No, you can say many people. That's not wrong. That's just substitution. Where? 4, I would say. 4. Prepositions. Many people are not satisfied with an organization they work for. Because you don't work organization, you work for an organization, right? You work for an organization. That's why you need to put that preposition. And by the way, prepositions are another very common type of mistake. And fixing it is very difficult. Like if you have a tense mistake, if your teacher explained it once, you understand it. But preposition is not something that can be explained. It's something that has to be memorized. All right? I think that's like a vocab. What do you use? Like you can use work at, right? Work with, work for, and all of them, they have different meaning. So I really recommend you to go to Google and search for very common prepositions for adjectives. Like from elementary, pre-intermediate levels, you have already learned phrases like keen on, interested in, good at, right? Adjectives. And the same with like work at, work for. Those ones will show your style. I mean, those ones will show your awareness of language. And it's a very good idea to browse some verbs with fixed prepositions and adjectives. Adjectives with the same fixed prepositions, and to memorize them. It's a very good idea to do so. All right, next one. No. Investment in education is beneficial as much for the government as individuals. It is one of the rules that we have learned today, grammar rules. Isn't it the same thing? No. We can put, between that as, adjective as, many people use just like as many as, but we can say, today I saw as many people as my little brother did. You see, I can put many phrases between two as. Parallel is a mistake. No. Investment, noun. Exactly. So what do you have on the first side of comparison? It's comparison, right? What do you have on the left side? As much for the government, right? So preposition plus noun. But what do you have on the second side? Just a noun. So preposition is missing. You see, it's not parallel. It's not being parallel here. Here, make sure your grammar structures are parallel. Investment in education is beneficial as much for the government as for the individuals. Okay? So, like, if you translate this, it's going to be something like this. Ularga qanaqa foyda bo'lsa, bularga ham shunaqa foyda bo'ladi. Ga degan narsa qolib ketdi hozir. Okay? So that's the mistake when you have parallelism mistake. Here, many tourist attractions are not intended for educating people about national customs, but solely intended for generating income. Very good grammar. Again, one small thing missed. High level grammar here. No, they mean tourist attractions. Do you guys know what is tourist attraction? Do you know any tourist attractions in Uzbekistan? What? Yeah. Is it? No, it's not. It's not subject-verb agreement. Does it seem like high-level writing? Right? Good writing? Except for that repetition intended for. No. Yeah, to some extent as SVO. To some extent, not fully though. Think about it. Subject-verb agreement mistake. Okay, if we can translate me the full sentence. Into Russian or Uzbek. I will help you with words if you don't know. Try. Can you try? Туристических аттракционов. Ага. Не предназначенные для обучения людей. Okay? О культуре, let's say, okay? About culture. Solely, only. Но только. Wait here. Is it предназначенный? No, wait. Is it предназначенный? It's planet 4, right? Planet 4. Шамана чықпаттымы? Planet 4. Aimed for. Look at the first intent for. And look at the second intended for. What's the difference? The first one is what? Are not intended. Is that past simple or what? It's adjective. Kind of, but I would say it's a passive voice. In present simple, right? Are intended. Are intended. So that's a passive voice. First side. What about the second side? But solely intended for. Active voice and past simple. Right? So first side is present simple passive voice. Second side is active voice and past simple. What kind of mistake is it? Parallelism. Again. You see, first side, you can see we have to be verb. Second side, we have verb. Verbs to be. No to be. That's how it should have been. But are solely intended for. Okay? Unga mo'ljallanmagan. Birinchi taraf shunaqa edi o'zi. Unga mo'ljallanmagan. Ikkinchi tarafi faqatgina shunga mo'ljallangan deyish o'rniga birinchi gapda faqatgina shunga mo'ljallagan deb qo'ygan. Mo'ljallangan emas, mo'ljallagan. Okay? Passive voice skipped just because of this are. Okay? Okay, here. Modern songs influence the way how children behave and their words. Anyone? The way children behave. What are they? Or songs. Might be a slightly unclear reference, but that wasn't the point. The point was about parallelism. Yeah. So do we have conjunction in this sentence? Guys, remember, once and forever, coordinating conjunctions, they are words like and, but, so, okay, for, those words. And both sides of those words, when you're listing the things, listing means перечислять, sanab o'tish, must have same grammatical structure. What is the grammatical structure on the left side? The way how children behave, right? Noun plus how, the question word, plus another noun plus verb. What about the right side? Pronoun plus noun. You see, they're not same. What should we do to fix it? They must be same. So make them same. It's what? Exactly. Modern songs influence children's behavior and their words. Easy? More understandable. Or the alternative version. Modern songs influence the way how children behave and speak. You see, the way how children behave and the way how they speak. Or children's behavior and their words. Clear now? Don't include such mistakes. Very common mistake. That's why I'm showing it, I'm emphasizing this. I would say 4 out of 5 students who are coming to my classes are making such a mistake. I don't know about others, I can't speak for others, but it is a very common mistake nowadays. Okay, another one. Oh, you learned it. You learned it, yeah. The rate of England was much higher than Germany. Incomplete comparison. Okay, what we are comparing on the left side? The rate of England, right? What we are comparing on the right side? A country. We are comparing an indicator to a country, all right? What it should be? The rate of England was much higher than, let's say, rate of Germany, but now it's repetition, right? Now I take that rate of, second rate, and I substitute it with that, like reference it. And then it becomes like, the rate of England was much higher than that of Germany. It means, who knows what does that of mean? Чем то же самое в Германии. Okay? Германиядagi xuddi o'shandan ko'ra. Nimadan ko'ra? Rate. Rate. Okay? So if here we had the rates, would we change that? Those of. We would use those of. Okay? Like, my exam scores are much higher than those of my friend. Okay? My exam scores are much higher than those of my friend because it's scores. Be careful with referencing again. Well, the next one. Again, 2 writings if you find a mistake. I'll personally give you feedback on 2 writings. This is not as much grammatical mistake. This is a type of mistake that makes it more difficult to understand. Bows off? No. Was implemented? No. Now, look, the verb is not going for taxes, right? The verb is going for implementation. That's why it is has. Like in task 1, you say the number of people increases, right? Number of people is or was. Same thing. No, because it should be noun. It has detrimental effect. Two essays on the line, guys. Otherwise, it's paid service. No idea. Okay, the sync is connect. It's like, let's say on the second line. Yeah, on the second line of the sentence. Yeah, guys, share your thoughts. No. It has, you see, there is verb. We need noun here. Effects. That's why it's effects. Guys, you were talking about something? What? No, I believe. It's okay. No, businesses themselves. Businesses as an organization. What's wrong about it? People, the same thing. Yeah, just the alternative version of it. In order not to repeat people all over, you can say individuals. What's wrong about it? What? Bows off? No. No. Here they're saying like, it's task 2 essay, and then the topic was government should increase taxes. About government increasing taxes. And then this was the paraphrase. They were saying, if government increases taxes, it's bad. Because it has bad impact on, like detrimental impact on people and organizations. That's what they wanted to say. I would say word placement mistake. What do you understand when I say both individuals and businesses? Yeah, 2 essays. I will share you a link. Send me in comments, okay? Tell me I'm that guy where you have, whom you have to whom you promised. Well, good job. When I say both individuals and businesses, it has 2 meanings. The one meaning is correct, both individuals and businesses. The second meaning is on 2 individuals and 2 businesses. Okay? Both individuals, ikkala odamga ham, ikkala biznesga ham degan ma'nosi bor. Okay? So the correct version would simply be putting both before preposition. I believe that the implementation of taxes has detrimental effects both on individuals and businesses. This is the clear meaning we were intended to say. Okay? So in writing, there is one thing, we always, like students always think of a one thing, but they don't write that thing. Okay? They want to deliver, but because of the lower level of general English, I would say they are not able to deliver that as they are thinking. Okay? And then what happens? Examiner reads it and gives low score because it's not the same level as you thought. To you, your essay will seem the same, but to me or to examiner, it will not seem the same. Even if I show my essay, sample essay here now, you will not understand it as well as I understand because I knew how I developed my plan, how I made my sentence. But when we have such kind of sentences like the first one, we don't know in which way examiner will understand it. And do you remember that sentence like I speak to my friend more than I do to my brother? Right? More than my brother. I speak to my friend more than my brother. 2 meanings, right? I know which meaning I mean, but my listener, when I say that, my listener doesn't know which meaning I mean. That's why it's my job to make my speech clear. It's my job to make my essay clear, okay? So again, goal is clear communication, understandable communication. Next one. Regarding the imports of meat products, they are anticipated to be even less common to buy. What's wrong here? Regarding the imports of meat products, they are anticipated to be even less common to buy. To buy. What's wrong with it? I mean, do you guys understand this sentence yourself when you're reading? Maybe anybody didn't understand something? What is expected? What is anticipated to be less? What is anticipated? No, they are anticipated, right? They are anticipated. But what are they? Meat products. Or imports. Or meat products. We have 2 plural nouns, right? First one is imports. Second one is meat products. And when we say they, examiner might not understand which one we mean. And if we mean meat products are anticipated to be even less common to buy. We can buy meat products, it's okay. But if we mean imports are anticipated even less common to buy. You cannot buy import, right? Unclear referencing leads to subject-verb agreement mistake in this case. Here is the correct version. Regarding the import of meat products, they are. Now, they is unmistakable. You cannot take a wrong word for they, okay? Because now we don't have 2 plural nouns. We have 1 plural noun. And there is only one way of taking it. Clear? All right. Lastly, I wanted to, as I promised at the beginning of the presentation, I wanted to show you a checklist, which I personally use. You remember at the beginning of presentation, I showed you a plan, right? And it had 3 parts, like time management. Which parts? 3 parts of time management. Beginning, what is that? Planning. Next one, producing, writing, and last one, checking. So I will give you a checklist, okay? Checklist for checking your essays. We call it also proofreading, if anybody heard it. Because, most of the time when I give feedback on students' essay, I say, you made a mistake here, and they go like, oh, I know it. Why did you make mistake then, if you know it, right? So therefore, proofreading is a very useful thing to do. Proofreading means reading your essay again with the purpose of identification of any mistake, in order to find mistake, okay? And then students don't know on what to concentrate. They don't know what kind of mistakes they should look for. I prepared you 15 questions here. First one, in task 1, and the most important one is, do my subjects agree with verbs? Now you understood what is subject-verb agreement, right? Are they all same? So subject-verb agreement was that one. Imports are expected to buy. That's a subject-verb agreement mistake. Second one, do I have correct spelling? Spelling matters, and quite often we don't notice it. Is there anyone who is going to take CD IELTS? Computer-delivered IELTS? I mean, especially in that type of IELTS, make sure you check your spelling. Because it's very easy to make spelling mistake when you're typing. You just touch accidentally the other key, and the software doesn't underline it for you, okay? The software doesn't underline it for you, and you'll make mistake. Like when you're writing on Word, Microsoft Word, it underlines your mistakes. And that's a good one. Actually, when I see when students make spelling mistake, what do I make them to do? Anyone, my students? Write it 100 times, okay? So when I see a student making same mistake, spelling mistake, twice in the essay, this gives me a signal that the student doesn't know how to spell that word. And in order for them to remember, I make them to write 100 times. This is very effective technique. If you write a word that you don't know how to spell 100 times, this can be applied in reading and listening as well. Some people manage to make mistakes in reading with spelling. All right, next one is, do I have correct punctuation? Okay, it's a very good idea to learn about punctuation, about the use of commas, about use of semicolon, use of hyphen, column, dash, right? All of those things, they will contribute to your grammar score. I mean, with correct spelling, you can increase your grammar by 1. With increase your lexical resource, sorry. With a correct punctuation, you can increase your grammar by 1. Okay? So if you increase your lexical resource and grammar by 1, you will change your overview by half, overall score by half. So if I have 6, 6, 6, 6, and if I have then 6, 6, 7, 7, I'm going to get 6.5. Okay? Well, next one. Did I choose correct feature for the overview? Overview is the single most important part of the essay. Okay? Task 1 report. So make sure you check that one after you have written. And is the feature clearly described again? The thing is, again, you might choose a good feature to describe, but you might not describe it clearly. Okay? I mean, you say, okay, the number of this was always higher than the number of that except for 1 year. And then you say the same thing, but you don't say that except for 1 year. And then it's not clear. So make sure you check if it's clear or not. Did I repeat any similar words that I could possibly substitute? Okay? Like people, people, people. And sometimes people overplay with this. You know what is overplay? Play too much, right? Change too much. They change words like water, right? Water, like there was a graph on the consumption of water, and one of my students changed water, tried to paraphrase water, with all of the kinds of synonyms, with liquid, with like H2O, right? The chemical formula for water. That's not what you're expected to do. So in task 1, candidates kind of want to paraphrase, the categories. You are given categories, right? Like line graph with 4 different lines, let's say, and candidates try to paraphrase those. And I tell them, if those were names of students, would you still try to paraphrase those? Names of 4 students. Would you try to paraphrase those? No. So we're not required to do. We can get high score without over paraphrasing. We just need to use good topic vocab. All right, did I overuse any specific grammar? Like some students have their favorite grammar. Most commonly, I would say it is relative clause in task 1. And then they put it in every single sentence possible. So if you overuse it, make sure you watch it and change it. Very good way to substitute relative clause is to use participle. If you don't know what is it, just Google present participle, perfect participle, past participle. It's a very good topic to use in task 1. Okay, did I overuse cohesive devices? That's the problem, you know. I mean, if you use cohesive devices, the linking words that students know, right? If you use them too much, they will actually make your essay less coherent, difficult to understand, okay? Anybody has read Coherence Cohesion 9 in writing? What does it say? Coherence Cohesion 9. Anybody has idea? They say uses cohesive devices in such a way, or coherence in such a way, that doesn't attract attention, that doesn't grab attention, that is not noticeable, okay? But after every sentence, if you put moreover, however, furthermore, after that, in addition, it is very much noticeable and it's far from 9, all right? Next one. Do I have any words that I'm not sure about? I mean, people try to remember some words sometimes, or they commit a crime of using dictionary while writing, and then that word is most commonly a mistake, okay? So if you are not sure about certain word, you'd better not include it, okay? Because it has higher risk than it has benefit. So unless you're 100% sure, never include a word in your essay, both task 1 and task 2. All right, do I have any word choice mistake? I mean, this is not something you can notice, because if you made word choice mistake, you apparently don't know that word, okay? This is something you check with dictionary afterwards, like not Google dictionary, not those like Uzbek English, like Russian English dictionaries. I recommend you Macmillan Dictionary or Cambridge Dictionary. Cambridge Dictionary is a better one. Well, the next one, 11th question. Are my comparison sentences accurate? So you see, I showed you many mistakes from samples, and most of them actually included comparison. Because it's very easy to make a mistake in comparison, and make sure you go through every single comparison sentence you have, okay? And ask yourself, what I'm comparing on the left side, what I'm comparing on the right side, are the things same, right? That's what you have to do. Did I show details clearly and appropriately in body paragraph? Another headache for students and for teachers as well. They do not show full details. Let's say if you have a 1 point in a line graph, 1 point, what are the things you have to mention in the line graph, let's say, right? You have 4 lines. No, just 1 point from the line graph, in the middle, any point, okay? Imagine there is a line graph, it reaches peak and decreases. So if you want to just describe 1 point, there are a couple of things you have to mention. What are those? No, I mean about single point. 1 number in the line graph, okay? So imagine a line graph starts with, let's say, at 20 in year of 1990, and the category is, let's say, A. Those are the things you have to mention. Like anybody have seen that line graph with FedEx and TNT? That's a very common line graph. Nobody? You have seen, right? When you're mentioning any point in your body paragraph, there are certain things you have to include. In every single sentence of your body paragraph, include a time when you are describing the certain thing in line graph. Include value. What is the number? Okay? And then make sure you include what you are writing about. Like you say, the number of, let's say, deliveries made by FedEx increased to 300. And when? When it increased. Incomplete, you see? They say, however, the rate of the TNT, this is another company, the rate of TNT decreased in 2015. Decreased where? To which point? You see? These are very common mistakes. So when you are looking at your sentences in body paragraph, always ask yourself, do I have precise, clear number, value? And do I have clear time in there? Okay? Number 13. Did I include time? Yeah, this is the thing. Did I include time, number, and trend in my sentences? Every single sentence must contain time, number, okay? Because without them, it's not clear. It's not clear what are you talking about. 14. Were the units of measurement clearly indicated? Well, sometimes we have graphs which are measured in, let's say, millions of dollars, let's say. Sometimes we have graphs which are measured in percentages, right? And then students say something like this. The number of people who traveled while working was 43%. They're saying number, and they're saying percent, right? The number was percent, 33%, which is not correct in terms of units of measurement. Units of measurement, if we have a line graph, like here's one axis, here's another axis, they're usually given here. So unit of measurement means if you have one number in line graph, what is that number? Is that thousands of people? Is that thousands of dollars? Is that millions of, I don't know, visitors? What is that number? Okay? You have to write it precisely. And be careful when you have percentages. They say sometimes the proportion of students who got A plus was 5%. You already said proportion, and you're saying percent. Incorrect unit of measurement. Okay, then last one. Are all sentences logically linked? Your sentences might be linked, but they have to be logically linked. Okay? So actually, do you remember this part, number 8? Did I overuse cohesive devices? If you make a good plan and you follow sentences in a good order, logical order, you don't have to use much cohesive devices. Because when we use words like however, by contrast, moreover, when do we use those? When? Question. Every time? When we begin sentence? When? When do you use however? For which case? Opposite ideas. For linking opposite ideas. Good idea. So when you're two sentences, when you follow one after another, they are not linked logically. And however is an like extra help for you to link those, right? The number of something increased, full stop. However, the number of something decreased. You see, you are talking increase and decrease, they are not logically linked. That's why I use however. But if you make a proper plan and your sentences follow each other, you don't have to link. For example, the number of something increased to this point in this year. Similarly to this, the number of the other thing also increased. You see, like the linking phrase is much better in this part. So these are 15 questions which you always have to ask from yourself when you finish your task 1 essay, okay? Well, about task 2, first one. Did I clearly show my main ideas? Again, goal, I will say 10 times today, is a clear communication, okay? The goal isn't to create something which cannot be understood by anyone except for you. The goal is to clearly deliver what you want to say, okay? That's what IELTS checks. So if you have main idea, when you are planning, you make a main idea, and then you should stay on that idea. You should develop that idea and explain it more. All right, did I explain or extend those? Sometimes in task 2, we have, a student describes one idea in one body paragraph. He gives explanation, he gives example, and then he says, moreover, and he says second idea. And then he finishes the body paragraph. The second idea is not developed. Developing means extending your idea. Like as I said, you yourself will understand your idea from the very first sentence because you created that idea. But I, or examiner, or any other person will not understand it. That's why you have to develop it, in order for them to be understandable, okay? Like in Uzbek we say, China birish, right? To make it as easy as possible to understand. Do I have examples to support my main ideas? Do you think we have to include examples in the essay? Is it a must? Of course. Because the task response 7 in task 2, assessment criteria, band descriptor, task response 7 says, presents, extends, and supports main ideas. And then there is, but these might be overgeneralized or something. So presents, extends, supports. That supports means you support with an evidence. Evidence is an example, okay? Or like general fact maybe, known fact. So do I have examples that support my main ideas? And are the examples relevant? That's the question. You can come up with example, but is examples actually supporting your main idea, right? I mean, is it on the same topic? Is it from the same sphere? And is it exact example? All right, other one. Did I overuse cohesive devices again? Like moreover, in addition, all those kinds, you know. What is the most common phrase when students are beginning their essay? Nowadays, thank you. Never include that. All right, how are the sentences linked? Okay, so sometimes in task 2, we really have to include, when we are writing, let's say, discussion essay or something, we have to include many linkers, like cohesive devices. And then people naturally repeat words like however, in contrast, right? Moreover, those words. You might repeat it and you might not realize it when you're writing. So once you have finished your writing, make sure you go through every single linking word and make sure you are not repeating it, okay? Because repetitive use of cohesive devices will decrease your score. This is from assessment criteria. Well, next one. Was my explanation clear first? And on topic, more importantly, on topic. So sometimes people know the subject they're talking about, the topic they're talking, they know it very well. And then they explain, like, one idea, why it happens, why the second idea happens, why the third idea happens. So that is an out of topic already, okay? They say the number one reason or the most important reason why we should invest in space exploration is that we can find solutions for problems. That's the first sentence. Then they say, this is because we have so many problems in our world. We have those problems due to overpopulation. And overpopulation in turn may lead to overconsumption of natural resources. Last 3 sentences were out of topic because topic was about space exploration. And overconsumption, overpopulation, they are not related very much, okay? So did I use clear referencing? We just talked about referencing. I did explain your referencing, right? Make sure it is clear with capital letters, clear. And if not, how I can substitute it. I will teach you one life hack. Like, consider the sentence. Employers should respect old people because they have served their country. Employers should respect old people because they have served. Who has served? Who is they? Employers or who? We don't know. So it's unclear referencing. How to change it? Employers, people, right? And they. One of them, you must make it singular. Any employer should respect elderly people because they have done service. Any employer, now singular versus plural. And then there's only one way. Or there is another grammar, the former, the latter, right? Task 1. Employers must respect elderly people because you can say the latter, second it means, right? Ikincisi, Italian ikincisi. That's old people. Did I overuse any particular grammar again? Like, we usually don't notice when we do so, but when I mark it, like students overuse will sometimes in their essays, especially, you know, problem solution essay, when you discuss the consequence. They say this will lead to something, which will lead to that, which will cause that, will, everywhere, okay? So make sure you pay attention. And by the way, do not misunderstand me here in this part, I just wanted to clarify. When we say we use wide range of grammatical structures, we never mean wide range of tenses, okay? If your, let's say, pseudo IELTS expert is claiming that we have to use different tenses, they're lying to you. Tenses are not grammatical structures. They say, if anybody has seen assessment criteria in grammar, they say uses wide range of structures, right? Complex structures, that's 7. And then those complex structures are not tenses. And I saw some poor students, who have watched like IELTS gurus on YouTube, so-called IELTS gurus on YouTube. And then in their essays, they try to include all 16 tenses, the poor guys, right? And their essay becomes as unclear as possible, which is not our goal. What is our goal? One more time. Thank you. All right, is it possible to widen my range of grammar? Now, if you haven't overused, if your grammar is all right, think about how you can make it wider. Again, not with tenses, with structures, okay? Structures. What grammatical structures do you guys know? Tell me. I have around 20, 30 people, so tell me what grammatical structures do you know? Active, passive, participles, relative clause, 4. What else do you know? Conditionals, if sentences, 5. Do we know only 5 sentences? Reported speech, but we can't use it in task 2. Can't use it. Okay, let's consider it, 6. What else? There are lots more. Anybody knows something called inversion? Little do people know about this grammar, right? This is the example of inversion. Cleft sentences. Omit the relative clause with the shortened version, right? There are lots of such grammar. There is a grammar called fronting. There are lots of advanced grammar that you guys yet have to explore. But the key here is not in learning that grammar. The key is using whatever you know to produce best version essay. All right? Once you come to IELTS group, I would say it's too late to learn general English. You have to use your general English at best. Okay? 11. How are my punctuation and spelling? As I said, this can decrease or increase up to 1 band score in grammar. This can increase or decrease up to 1 band score in lexical resource. Overall, they can change your essay by half. Such a small thing. Okay? 12. Are my complex sentences accurate? Am I sure about it? Right? Second time, double check it. Why? The reason is, if I'm not mistaken, 6 in that assessment criteria, band 6, says less accurate in producing complex sentences than in producing simple sentences. Okay? A candidate has more mistakes in complex sentences than he has in simple sentences. If I'm not mistaken, this was either 5 or 6. Low band score in grammar. Okay? So that's why we have to make sure to check those. Like sentences with despite, right? Also, many people still, even at the IELTS levels, they don't know how to use despite. And they make lots of mistakes with that. So make sure you double check it. Not just check it, but double check it. Check it twice. 13. Did I include topic-based vocabulary? If not, how and where I can use it? So the goal with lexical resource part of writing is not that you are not checked how many fancy words you know, right? You are checked how many words on a certain topic do you know. Not how many, let's say. Do you know many words or no on a certain topic? They give you a random topic, such as medicine, education, business, and all others possible. And then you have to produce words, phrases, collocations on that topic, not on the other topic, okay? And do you remember that phrase, that mistake? There is a heated debate among people, right? That mistake that I showed you before. So that mistake is a memorized phrase. And many people actually, they like memorizing words, like those C2 words, C1 words, thinking that it will increase their score. No, it will not. Examiner will realize that you have memorized many words, such as this. They begin their essay with plethora of people have an assumption that, all right? Very difficult phrasing, which is not natural at all. They want to make their writing like reading, which is not what we do, all right? Which is not what we have to do. And about vocabulary, many think that if we use C1 words, we can get 7 in vocab. If we don't use C1 words, we cannot get that. No, it's myth. It's a myth, okay? It's not a fact. The fact is, you get C1 if you use all the phrases up to C1, B1, B2, B3, like B3, C1. You will, I've seen an essay which was like 7.5 and I analyzed it. Like, it wasn't my score, it was a real IELTS examiner score. It wasn't one of those fake essays on the internet. And that essay had like 5 C1 words, 3 C2 words. Lexical resource was 7. 5 C1 words, 3 C2 words. But all of those were used, with a precision. Anybody knows what precision is? Precise vocabulary. Exact vocabulary, okay? It is ability to describe in shortly, and concisely, okay? That's what it checks. 14, do I have any words that I'm not sure about again? Students like experimenting. They love experimenting with new words, they say, let me just try it, right? Let me change the structure. No, we don't do those things. 100% rule, that's what I say to my students. Unless you are sure in the word that you are going to use, never use the word. Even if you have repeated simple word 3, 4, 5 times, but you are not sure in synonyms, don't use it. It's better to use simple word repetitively than to use difficult word in an incorrect way. Okay? Well, last one. Are my sentences paraphrased well? All right? And precisely. Again, the precision. So when we are paraphrasing, we often lose meaning. Okay? I will send those. I will make sure that these are available for you. I have already created a channel and uploaded there. I will show you. So when we paraphrase our sentences, we don't care about precision, we care about synonyms only. And mostly, what is the #1 way among students, how they find synonyms? Google. Yeah, I know you guys like going to Google, translate words into Russian, then translate Russian English to English Russian, right? And then you put word in Russian, and then there are hundreds of synonyms, right? Out of 100 synonyms, 110 synonyms are wrong. Okay, all of them are wrong. Most of them are wrong. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea. And then there is the site called Thesaurus, right? Do you know that site? It's very difficult to pronounce that word, Thesaurus. Okay, so that site will also find synonyms for you. Basically, that's trash. Another site that I wanted to warn you about is Writing 9 or Writing 69. Anybody has seen this website? When you're searching for sample essays, Writing 9 or Writing 69. They are scammers, all right? Don't believe them. They have fake scores. They have a software, basically, which calculates how many linking words you use. And then it gives you a score based on the number, not quality. Okay? Don't use that site. Don't trust it. All right, so this is the checklist for task 2. Now the turn for questions. Any questions you have about writing, guys? About IELTS writing? I am here to answer those. Yeah, good question. She's asking if we should start from task 1 or task 2. What do you guys do? Task 1, task 2? 2? Why? 1. Start with a difficult. More important. Yeah. Okay. Okay, but the logic here is this. We should start with task 2. I personally took exam 4 times, and all 4 times I started with task 2. The reason is, if I run out of time, if my time finishes, and I'm writing my task 2, which part I can't write? Qaysi joyga ulgurmayman task 2da? Conclusionga, to'g'rimi? Conclusion bo'lmasa task response 5 bo'ladi. Okay? And if I'm writing task 1, and if I run out of time, qaysi joyga ulgurmayman? Bodyni oxiriga, ikkinchi bodyni oxiriga. Ikkinchi bodyni oxirida less important details discuss bo'ladigan joy. Table tushsa, masalan, sizlarga ekzamenda tableda most important detailsdan least important detailsga qarab yozib kelsanglar, tugasa, gap tugagan, vaqt tugab qolsa, gap tugatib qo'ysa, tochka qo'yib ekzaminator sezmay ham qoladi tugaganini. Agar 150 so'z bo'lsa. Oxirigacha qilolmaganini sezmaydi ham. Okay? That's why it's task 2. Any other question? I saw a question there.
And the writing task 2, first you should write advantages and disadvantages in the writing task 2. First is convenient. We should write advantages and disadvantages according to this view. If we will be agree to this view, and we should write first disagree or agree point in the body 1.
Okay. So you mean if your question is advantage, disadvantage, right? Do our advantages outweigh disadvantages? From which we should start?
Yeah,
that's what your question is. Okay. Actually, in writing, there is no such fixed thing that like you have to do this, you must do that. I personally will speak from my experience. I write the body part which I think stronger in the second part. Okay. For example, I have one advantage, right? I describe it in body 1, and I have one disadvantage. I put it in body 2. The reason is at the beginning of my body 2, I say, despite that advantage that I mentioned, not the same phrase, but something in this meaning. Despite the advantage that I mentioned, I still think something is good because of this disadvantage. Something is bad because of this disadvantage, okay? Let's say you're discussing e-books, okay? In first body paragraph, you say e-books have detrimental effect on eyesight, okay? You discuss that idea, develop it. And then in the second body paragraph, you say, despite the harm of e-books on our vision, I believe that the development of e-books is a good tendency because of convenience it provides to us. You see, in the first sentence, I'm able to clearly communicate my idea. So I said like, o'zbek tilida aytganda, hozir advantage aytdim, bu advantage bilan qo'shilaman, lekin baribir ham disadvantage ga qo'shilaman. Disadvantage ko'proq deb o'ylayman. Okay? The same in opinion discussion essays. Like discussion is different topic. Your second question was about discussion, right? In discussion, I usually do body 1 one side, body 2 second side, body 3 my side. My opinion. It's like, what does the question say in discussion? Discuss both sides.
Discuss both views.
Discuss both views and give your opinion. So in body 1, you're discussing view 1. In body 2, you're discussing view 2. You're discussing both views. And then you're giving your opinion. You're fully answering to the question. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions about your writing? How to improve my writing, right? That's the most common question. No questions. Okay, are you sure? No question? Book. So again, I'm going to speak from personal experience. I haven't personally practiced with the book. I got like courses, different courses. So the one I like is, do you know Chris Pell on YouTube? Chris Pell, like IELTS Advantage, right? Yeah, that guy. I like his style of writing. Also the Pauline Cullen, you know Cambridge Official Guide, right? She's authored that book. She has written that book. I like her style as well. I mean, it's impossible to dislike her style. And, well, pretty much that's it. Yeah, those two things for task 2. When it comes to task 1, well, Takasoni's writings are good. I like his writings. But the problem with the book is that I haven't seen a consistent book which I liked everything about it. Okay? Like some parts I agree with, some parts I disagree with. I'm not saying these books are incorrect. I'm saying I just don't like the style. Okay? Well, any other questions? About grammar in writing? Yeah. Okay. So the question is how we can kind of expand the outlook, right? Well, good idea. Depends on the style of learning, I would say. Some people like reading, some people hate it, some people like watching videos, right? If you like reading, it's articles. For example, in my writing, I always include specific example, and most of the time my students like wonder, where do you take examples, how do you get ideas, and so on. It's reading, first of all. Second of all, I really recommend you to watch documentaries, like documentary movie, right? Like there are lots of documentaries on YouTube as well, like the channels, YouTube channels, like free documentary channel, National Geographic, I believe, right? There is one more WD documentary or something. So there are lots of documentaries, and there you learn ideas, examples. Like recently, I watched one about noise pollution. And then I happened to have the same essay with my group. I used lots of ideas, vocab, examples from the documentary, and it was very useful for task 2. All right, any other questions? Okay, yeah, he has.
How can we plan before writing?
What?
How can we plan before writing and for task 2?
Task 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like to, I take my general idea, give me a topic, let's say animal experimentation, right? Do you agree or disagree with an animal experimentation? I take my main idea and I put like arrow down, okay? And then I say there, like, I ask myself question, why I agree, right? How it should be done, and what happens if it's done, so what? Like I will say, animal experimentation, yes. Why? Next sentence, for medicine, right? What will happen if not, right? I say in the next sentence, otherwise, right? If not, otherwise we will not be able to find cures, okay? Example, COVID, right? I just made up the whole body paragraph here. So 4 sentences, you just write them into one body paragraph, okay? Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Yeah. You have it? No? Okay. So then with that being said, we're going to end this presentation, and here is the promised link, okay? You just scan that QR code, or you go to that username on Telegram, where you can access the presentation, the e-version of the presentation on Telegram. You can download it, watch it, and I will enable comments in this channel so that you can ask any other questions. And I remember about 2 essays, giving feedback on 2 essays. I will send you a video on it. Just text me there, all right? Yeah, just take a picture and later on just enter that username and you'll find it. Got it? Everyone? All right. If you have no other questions, thank you guys for being such a patient audience, and see you next time.